And here we go. Digital Adele back with another Hoops Profile Rookies Only edition for you with Matt Hanifan as my co-host. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing good, but I'm doing good. I'm not used to I didn't expect the quick title change. I know we're talking just all rookies today, but
That's it. Quick title change on the fly, man.
yeah,
We're playing jazz. We don't pregame this stuff. We just go.
right. Exactly.
No, it's a really intricate, long drawn out process that we do this stuff.
Yeah.
No, the majority of the time is spent on the research. The actual show itself, not much planning at all.
No.
Ryan, what's good? Ryan on YouTube. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, he says. I appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on YouTube and comment. It's an interactive show. We want to hear from you. So where would you like to start this thing off, Matt Hanifan, with the all rookie team? Did you want to start, just get right into it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple questions about this. This is more so like the voting.
Yeah.
I find it very funny how here's an example. Like you look at when they do these all rookie teams, the NBA PR page on Twitter, they release like every player that received votes.
Right.
And I'm like glancing at this and I'm like, okay, why did Jared McCain, who played like 20 games, get a first place vote?
A first place vote, right?
For like that games. Means they had him on the first team all rookie. And
right.
Just for the viewers out there, there's no like 65 game minimum. Like that doesn't apply to the rookie of the year or the all rookie team.
Right.
And so like whatever threshold that people have for playing games or whatever, like that doesn't, they could set their own arbitrary marks for that if they want to, or there are arbitrary benchmarks for other things. But I just find it funny how it was like, why did he get a first place vote? Wasn't bad. He was good when he played, but he played 23 games.
Right. And that's the crux of the issue. I mean, such a small sample size compared to, and this, in fact, you're actually leading me into an argument I have regards to Yves Missi, but we'll talk about that once we get there. But I agree with you. Being that we podcast now, you're a writer, so you're in the media because you write all the time. Speaking of, I'm sure you're hip deep in profiles. That's gotta suck.
Yeah, I'm just getting started on those.
It's a lot.
I'll be flying through those as the weeks go by.
Yeah, I still got to fill in my stuff. All my thoughts are in my head. I just got to put them to each player. I have them all there, but cool, man. So let's talk about this all NBA first team. I'm going to share my screen so the audience can see. Select stream. There it is. Share screen. Share a window. And boom. Like magic. Not Johnson. We have the all NBA rookie first team for the 2025 NBA season. Well, 2024-2025 NBA season. We have one, Stephon Castle. If you were around this show at all, it would be no surprise. You saw this coming. We called this from the draft time. Said he was the best player in the class. He was number one on my big board. Stephon Castle. Lockdown defender. All-around great player. For a draft, they said was the worst draft class ever. So, there's that. Then we have the Ediosaurus, the Zach Ediosaurus, 7'11" wingspan, moves like a glacier. I have some problems with Zach Edey being on the first team. I got some real problems with it. Yves Missi played all season, started all season, was pretty much a consistent double-double all season, even as the roster crumbled around him. The kid put up numbers every single game in, game out. Willie Green came out and said, we just couldn't take him out of the lineup. Like, we had no plans on playing him all the time. But even before the players got hurt, they just couldn't take him out of the lineup because he was that impactful. I personally thought Yves Missi should have been all NBA first team over Zach Edey. What are your thoughts on that, Matt, before we move to the rest of the first team?
I don't necessarily. I mean, I didn't have. I mean, I guess I kind of had Eve and Edie second team on my own personal
Yeah.
ballot. And so if you were to make a case for Misi over Edie, I wouldn't complain. But I do kind of disagree with the fact that Edie is on the first team.
Yeah.
In addition to Sar. Like, I think there's compelling cases for Ware. I think there's compelling cases for Buzelis. I know we'll talk about that in a minute. And then Misi as well. But Sar and Edie were like the two. And when you look at the voting, like they were the two final guys. They finished 4th and 5th respectively in the voting. And so It's not like they were like second or whatever they get. Like that's just how the voting ended up. Edie being higher than Sar. To me, like there was obviously impactful moments from Edie throughout the season, but the kind of the knock against Ware too, he was just too inconsistent.
Right.
For my liking. Obviously, I think with the coaching change, they saw an uptick in production from him because they were doing more screen and rolls. They were using him more as a rim runner,
right,
than they were previously, and so I think that was that was good for him. But just in the general sense, I don't think he was all that impactful all the time.
Right.
In the regular season to warrant a first team all rookie spot as like a top 4 guy.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And the one thing too, when you mentioned Kel'el Ware, which we're going to get to, if this was an award for half the season, I think it was a shoo-in. Like there wouldn't have even been a contest there. Even over Misi, I mean, if it was a half season award, like the second half of the season. But I agree with you. I mean, Sar, I'm kind of on the other end of it because I think he played a lot better than people gave him credit for this season. A lot of the stuff early was a little rough. The offensive stuff took longer to come around, but I think blocking shots, rebounding, his ability to handle the ball, because that offense is super up pace. I mean, they got the ball, and once he got it, he was busting out, starting their break. So I think he did a lot of stuff, too, that didn't show up in the stat sheet for him.
Sure.
That you couldn't do with a lot of other centers. Like, you weren't going to have Zach Edey grab a rebound and bust out, dribble up to court, starting fast breaks and things like that. Same thing with Misi. I mean, Misi can handle better than Edey, and he can handle actually surprisingly well. I just wouldn't want him starting the offense from a bust out dribble just yet. So
you couldn't also have Edey switch
at all.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
And if he was left on an island, like you're bad news bear.
Like, it happened in the playoffs.
I was just about to mention like the game against Golden State, the playing game is just like burned in my brain. How they were just having him on Jimmy, and Jimmy was just going at it,
torched him
every single time, and it's just like why is that the case? Like, the counter argument for putting him on Draymond is, well, they're just going to spam DHOs and make him play at the level,
right?
Like that's really what it is. But why would you then have him on Jimmy?
Yeah, like, it was a bad strategy by the coach.
It was it was not a good matchup for him specifically, but like, I don't know. That was weird. I'm looking at Sar's numbers. He had a 20-game stretch late in the season, 16.6 points, 6.6 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1.7 blocks. Again, the biggest knock on him was the efficiency.
Right.
The efficiency was just bad this year.
It was.
And this was from March 5th to April 9th for anyone curious. But that's like a legitimately good, 20-game stretch over the latter portion of the season that the production and the impact wasn't quite there. And I'm sure, they were probably giving him a little bit more run just because, it's the end of the season. The team in general has nothing to play for. Like they want to
Right.
see what they have in their young guys as much as they possibly can. Um, I know there was a stretch there in February where he was hurt and he came back and he played his best basketball of the season thereafter. And so that's a very encouraging sign for him specifically. Um, but I also do think, again, to your point, he was better than he was better than Edie was.
Yeah,
And the
I
voting
agree.
suggested otherwise from like what the voters voted. Not saying that's right or wrong, but
Right.
I mean, I'm saying it's wrong, but
Yeah. And now the other thing that I want to pivot to as well, who on the NBA All NBA rookie first team, is Zachary Richer. Again, before the draft, everybody said, "How is this guy possibly going to be the first or second pick in the draft? He isn't that good." Blah blah blah. And we talked about how strong of a performance he put in Europe, the last 20 games of the season, and even during their playoffs, and how much better his ball handling was than people gave him credit for, and at that size and ability to move and affect the game. And you saw that in the play-in game also with Atlanta. Unfortunately, Trae Young just kind of isn't a serious basketball player. But I'm sure he loves hoops. Like, people also make this don't understand the distinction between loving basketball, like they like to play the game, and being a serious basketball player where winning is the only thing that matters. That it was unexcusable what happened in that play-in game with Trae Young, with Donovan Mitchell. It was just unexcusable. Like, didn't guard him. Just like Donovan Mitchell got so far into his head, it affected how he played the game.
You mean Davion?
Davion. I said Donovan, didn't I?
Yeah, you said Donovan.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have mush for brains. Zachary Richer, he was actually terrific. I loved what he brought to the Atlanta Hawks this season. I think it was way bigger than the expectations of the average fan and the average observer was giving him credit for. On my big board, I had him right where I thought he should go. I think he was right behind our guy, Stephon Castle. Hold on, let me pull it up. I'll tell you.
Yeah, we talked about it on here when we were doing
I had him third,
like the rookie ladders.
Fourth. I had him fourth.
When we were looking at the rookie ladders, we talked about it, like his late season surge.
Yep.
Kind of into that. Like we knew he wasn't going to win rookie of the year, but like he made a compelling case for second.
Yes.
There was a 34 game stretch from January 30th to April 11th, which is the penultimate game for Atlanta. Their last game of the season, he only played 10 minutes because they had again nothing really to play for. So 34 game stretch, not half the season, but kind of close to it. 15.1 points on 52% shooting, 42% from 3-point range on 5.1 attempts per game, where he was taking nearly half of his attempts, and then 71.6% from the free throw line, in addition to 3.6 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1 combined stocks. But like the thing with him is, we talked about it on playback. Please go check out our 5 reasons playback when we watch the Heat. And throughout the playoffs, other playoff games. But like whenever we would watch Atlanta, it was like, okay, he just looks more comfortable on the floor.
Absolutely.
Now than he did like in the beginning of the season. Like there's obviously he's still in kind of like a defined role. Jalen Johnson got hurt in the middle of the season. So he was thrust into like a bigger role. And I think he flourished, and you saw what you needed to see from him as a rookie, both offensively and kind of defensively. Obviously, yeah. I think he still needs to pack in, like still needs to get bigger.
Oh, for sure.
His body, and that will take time. He just turned 20 years old in April, so he's still very young. But he was awesome toward the latter stretch of the season, especially with his like 3-point shooting efficiency and whatnot. You still want to see if there's some creation upside with him, especially if Atlanta has plans to trade Trae Young at any point over the next couple of years, which I know that's been a talking point for a while. But like, if he's going to be your young guy that you want to build around, obviously he's now with the Trae Young to where it makes his life a little bit easier, but how is that gonna look, 2 or 3 years from now if he's
Right.
not playing next to Trae Young? That's a very, like, legitimate discussion, um, that I'm curious to see, like, what his career arc looks like, but 15.1 points on that kind of efficiency in a 34-game stretch to close the season, like, you can't ask for much more given the expectations from him heading into the season.
Absolutely. And he's a terrific open court ball handler and facilitator, better than he is in a half court. Because when you get a guy his size that can move the way he does, it presents problems. Now the vertical athleticism isn't really there, but the way he moves and his ability to navigate in the open floor is really what does it for me. In terms of him being able to impact year one, he just thrived in that. Guru's son on YouTube says Sar got first team all rookie shooting 48 true shooting percentage as a center. Yes, because he does a lot more than traditional center things, which we talked about in the open of the show. So if you want to go back and hit the rewind button and go to that portion, you'll see why what we talked about his impact was across, especially towards the latter part of the season as well. Now, one of my big misses on my big board, we've talked about this a lot because I like to own up to my mistakes. I'll talk about two of them from this big board. One was Ulrich Chomchi. I loved Ulrich Chomchi. Overestimated him getting an opportunity, and it never came. And so he stayed in the G League all season. So we don't have no idea what he's going to be. I had him pretty high. I had him at like 20th on my big board or something, like maybe 25. I had Edie 31st and Khalil Ware 32nd. Jalen Wells, I literally watched a half a quarter or a half a game on him because we have a limited amount of time. If we don't get the information about a guy until the end of the season, it's very difficult for us to watch all these prospects. Like, we don't have a team cutting up film and sending it to us. Like, it's us finding film, watching all these games. So I get 100% whiffed on Jalen Wells, who got it all NBA first team, and I think it was well deserved. His two-way impact, surprisingly refreshing, as well as the value of where they drafted him. It's outstanding by the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, and he did hit a little bit of a rookie wall toward the end.
Right.
I mean, hopefully for his sake. Was it a leg injury that he suffered?
That he was the one that got his legs undercut, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, it wasn't a leg injury. It was like, okay, that's right. Yeah, he got his leg cut under.
Yeah, he like smashed his head off the court.
Yeah. Hopefully for his sake that he's able to, fully recover ahead of next season. I'm not sure what the timeline looks like for that. He did hit a little bit of a rookie wall, and I think that was because his opportunity just in terms of like his usage and whatnot dipped. I know, like, from an efficiency standpoint, he wasn't as efficient
right
in the latter portion of the season than he was earlier. But no, he was remarkable on both ends, especially, again, to your point, given where they drafted him, given the expectation. Like, there was no one who expected him to do this.
No.
Right away as rookie, and so he deserves all the credit in the world for that.
Absolutely. I definitely hope he has a full recovery as well. Our guy that we loved and we wanted the Heat to get undrafted, KJ Simpson, he's the culprit. That was a dirty play. A dirty play. I know KJ said all the right things after, but when you watch it, it just can't do it, man. It just can't happen. But let's talk about the all rookie second team, shall we? The aforementioned Matas Bazelis. Love this kid's game. Absolutely thought he deserved an all NBA first team spot. He was more impactful than any of the, not any, but most of the guards and wing players that you could have picked out of. And the way he impacted the Bulls' playoff run to be able to try to make it to the playoffs, just outstanding work. And as a Miami Heat person that covers the Miami Heat and as a fan of the Miami Heat, he torched the Miami. Oh my God. He looked like he was unstoppable against the Miami Heat. And people would say, random heat killer or scrub heat killer is the term they say. Matas can hoop. I couldn't really tell when I scouted him for the G League Ignite because that team was so dysfunctional. You really couldn't tell much because he didn't have the ball in his hands a lot. He was standing in the corner most of the time. Who did they have? Tyler Smith?
Yeah, Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith.
Bron Holland.
Almanza as well. That's going to be in this year's draft. And it was just a mess. But even still, we had Matas 9th on our big board. We saw the athletic profile. We saw the tools and the potential. The shooting percentage wasn't there at the G League either. He didn't look comfortable. But man, did he work on that quickly when he got to the NBA, man. And our other guy, Bub Carrington, Washington Wizards. Bub can hoop, man. Big, tough shot maker, made some game winners this season. Better facilitator at the NBA level than he was at the college level. Tough shot maker. I like what the Wizards are building in Washington. Donovan Klingeth, the mountain of a man. Real quick on YouTube, Steve Fine says, Bub Carrington, Wizards point guard of the future.
Could be.
Could be. Very good player. Very, very good player. Donovan Klingeth, wish he didn't get injured. Because if he didn't get injured, I think he would have been perhaps on that All-NBA first team. Every time Donovan Klingeth's matched up with Zach Edey, he's gotten the better of Zach Edey. At every level.
I was going to say, what? Are we talking NBA, college?
College, NBA, every time they match up together, Kling gets the better of them. Guru Sun says no. No about what? What are you talking about, Bub? Edey dropped 32 points on him in the championship game. Did he now? How'd that work out for him? I thought Kling was fantastic in that championship game.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't the Naismith Award winner, dominant force that he was. Because UConn was quite literally trying to take away everything else.
Correct.
To where it was just Edey getting shots up.
Edey versus Kling. His usage rate was through the roof that game.
And Klingon defended him as well as anyone did.
I thought Kling was fantastic
because he was very 37 points on 25 shots for.
How many rebounds did Kling have?
Look, he only had 5. That's not surprising because he was the primary defender on.
Correct, but how many blocks?
Just one.
Just one? He had one. So he had a block. He had some rebounds as the primary defender. How many points did he have?
11.
So he had 11 of his own after handling full defensive responsibilities on Zach Edey. Okay. I'm cool. Yeah, Edey cooked him. All right. I'll take your word for it, Guru Son. Yves Missi made All-NBA second team. We've talked about him a little bit earlier. I thought he should have been All-NBA first team. I thought the whole draft process, Missi was not getting talked about enough. And if y'all remember our coverage, I talked about Missi ad nauseum, probably a little too much for people's liking. But I think the league agreed with me, and I think he proved himself to be more valuable than people gave him credit for. His ability to run the floor, put rim pressure, block shots, rebound, even facilitate And there's even reps where he got the ball at end of shot clock situations, stayed poised, made nice moves, proved he had nice touch on his jump hook. Really love Messi, man. And then Khalil Ware. Tell us about Khalil Ware, Matt Hanifan.
I see. I thought Khalil would have been he was on my first team, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Heat fan. But I do understand why he didn't make it. Yeah. But just based on his full production, average 9.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, roughly. 55% shooting, played 64 games. I know, obviously, there. We talked about some of the stretches for a couple of these other guys. Well, he was also really good, in the second half of the season. It's not an award given out to someone who just played a half a season, which that was kind of the situation that he was in. And so I understand it from that angle. And I think if he played a full season, then I think he would have gotten a little bit more love. But I'm looking at it right here. Over his last 26 games, 10.6 points, roughly 10 rebounds a game, 1.3 blocks. He was shooting 57.6% from the floor. Not efficient from deep.
Right.
But the production, the product, what you want to see with him next to Bam Adebayo is something that we saw, I think, good glimpses of. It was still a little bit clunky. But I understand why he didn't make the first team over guys like Sar and Edey, even though I probably would give him the slight edge over Edey.
Yeah, I would too. The thing about Ware, and this goes to a bigger conversation about the Miami Heat and Khalil Ware, which we're going to avoid the Miami Heat stuff, as much as possible on this channel.
We try our best.
But since we're on the All-NBA rookie team and Khalil Ware is on it, I said from the beginning, my issue is with his motor and his basketball IQ. On his talent alone, I said he's a walking double-double as his floor.
Yeah.
A walking double-double. And he proves that right. You look down at the stat sheet and you're like, wait, he's got what? He's got 20 points and 10 rebounds? How? What? So, his talent is just off the charts. It's can he put it all together? The basketball IQ, the consistent motor. Hopefully he can. The sky's the limit for that kid. But
the shooting?
Well, the shooting comes down to his work ethic.
Right.
How much time is he going to put in? Is he going to work? Because, even if you get out there, and I have people go through and shoot, I don't know, 100 reps, right? If you take a person who kind of just goes through the motions, they're not going to get anything out of it. If you take somebody that goes hard, every rep like it's a game rep, they're going to get more out of it. There's no coach in the world, especially once you get to this level, that can change how you participate in those reps. It's all up to him. Any closing thoughts on the All-NBA team, Matt Hanifan?
Just a few guys who weren't on it, who I thought, not saying they deserved it, but
I got the votes right here.
Worthy consideration. Collier, I thought, had a very strong second half of the season.
Oh yeah.
Who were some other? I know Ron Holland, he had the numbers weren't there for him, but I thought he was pretty impactful for what they did at certain points. Filipowski obviously got a lot of run last couple months of the season.
Right.
I'm surprised Connect got 17 second team votes.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. He really wasn't impactful for the Lakers at all.
No.
Also, another guy who came in late to the season, Devin Carter, you never heard his name in Sacramento. He played, but
if you follow Sacramento, you saw it, but not on the national scale.
Correct, on the national scale.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, tell me what the Sacramento media was saying about Devin Carter throughout the end of the season.
He was impactful, but it just limited run.
Okay. So they were pleased with what they saw, is what you're saying.
I think so, yes.
Okay. Cool.
Although the shooting was bad. If you look at the shooting, that was
which we predicted was going to be the case.
But defensively,
oh, he's a menace.
Yeah, like there was some pretty impactful stuff there at certain points. I was very this part of it was also interesting. Obviously, we talked about McCain getting the first place and the 5 second place votes. One guy who got votes at all was Dillingham.
How?
I don't know.
How would Rob Dillingham get votes?
He got 1 second place vote. Keyshawn George got 1 second place vote. Reed Shepherd got 1 second place vote, which again, I just don't know how. Like,
Reed's a byproduct of being on a good team.
Right, but they never played.
Never played, right. Never played. Dillingham played a little bit.
Yeah.
But Pequeño, a little bit. Paquito. But I mean, he couldn't get on the floor. Like, his coach literally got so frustrated with him defensively that he was like, sit down, and he just didn't play anymore.
He played 49 games, but 10 and a half minutes per game.
Correct, because he couldn't defend anyone. It was rough. Yeah,
Justin Edwards got a vote.
Justin, what?
Well, I mean, he got a second place, but I could justify that more than Dillingham.
Oh my, Justin Edwards. I mean, another guy. Somehow he played much better than we expected him to play. Way better than we expected him to play. That being said, there's no way he deserves to be all NBA second team. No chance.
Right. No, I'm in complete agreement with you. I'm just looking at the numbers. He only played 44 games, but 10.1 points, 46, 36, 70 shooting splits. Again, there are worse players getting as many, if not more votes than him. So
how about AJ Johnson the second half of the season once he got traded to Washington? He played really well. I'm not saying he should have got all NBA second team votes, but I think a lot of people don't realize how impactful or not impactful, but how valuable of a pickup he was just on that trade. It was to get Kuzma out of there. Isn't that how they got him?
Yeah, it was the Kuzma Middleton trade. He was the throw-in.
The throw-in, that's right.
Middleton. But yeah, no, man, over the last month, like, he was getting, 30 minutes a night.
It's a major run. And then shout out to Jamal Shed.
Yep.
Jamal Shed exceeded my expectations as a facilitator. I knew he was going to be really good defensively. Didn't have any idea he was going to be that good of a facilitator. He's actually the Anthony Carter mold of a point guard in modern NBA terms.
Are you saying he's more Devin Carter than Devin Carter?
He's more Devin Carter than Devin Carter.
That's wild.
But and one last guy, if the OKC Thunder win the championship, don't worry, league. You still have to worry about Nikola Topic playing basketball in 2025-26 season. He was number 5 on our big board. Never played a game. Him and his tiny arms. We were told he had 7-foot wingspan all season. The whole European season, we were told he had a 7-foot wingspan.
Or that was the rumor. They were like, that was what I don't know if they actually measured. I mean, obviously,
I doubt they actually measured.
I was going to say if they actually did measure it, they would find that he didn't have a 7-foot wingspan. But that
he
was
had a negative wingspan.
Yeah,
negative.
Well, wait, was it negative or was it like a flat 0?
I thought it was negative. I thought it was like negative by a half inch. Let's look it up, shall we?
Either way, bad.
Either way, bad. Let's see. Nikola Topic. Yeah, he's 6'5" and 7/4. Yeah, it's negative.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, quarter of an inch.
By a quarter inch. Yeah.
That's tough, man.
That's tough.
That's tough, man.
We were sold a 7-foot wingspan, dude.
Just
But that leads
could
us
you
into
imagine if, like, not saying he heard it or didn't hear it or anything like that, but, like, you're like, "Dude, they're saying I have a 7-foot wingspan, like, you know how cool that would be?" And then you get to the combine, you're just like, "Wait, it's 6'5"? Like,
6'5". He's got T-Rex
the
arms.
whole 7 inches.
It's a small difference.
Yeah, like,
It's a small accounting error.
that'd be tough, man. That'd be tough.
You know,
And he
Con.
still went in the lottery.
Oh, dude. Oh, I mean, he's super talented. Super
Right.
talented.
Yeah.
Hero has a -2 wingspan. Don't remind me, Guru Son. In the playoffs, when I saw Tyler dive for a loose ball and he came up like this short, I was like, oh, negative wingspan got him.
Yeah.
But what
Size
I was
matters, people.
size matters, people. What I was gonna say is it leads into a tease for our next podcast on Thursday. Tune in again, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna go over all the combine measurements. We're gonna talk about all the prospects in the 2025 class. There are some surprises in there.
I was actually looking at some of the because I mean, obviously, it being we're a week out of it, like it actually happening, and like I'm going back and like refreshing like what the measurements were,
Yeah.
and there was a couple of them where I'm like, whoa, that was like lower than what I really expected
Right?
it to be, or it was like, oh, geez, like that was like he's taller.
He's taller, yeah. Con
Um,
Knipple, so that was the story. Con Knipple actually said on a podcast, this was like in the middle of Duke season. He goes, I just want to clear it up for this is how honest that kid is. He's like, I just want to clear it up for everybody. They got me listed at 6'7", but I'm 6'5". Like,
yeah,
he's like, I'm actually 6'5". They wouldn't listen to me. I tried to tell him I wanted to be listed at 6'5".
those athletic departments, man, they're like, no, we're giving you the extra couple inches. Like, just go with it.
Did I tell you what happened to me in high school?
No,
So
it
in
happens.
high school, I'm 6 foot. I've been 6 foot since I was in like 7th grade. Like I stopped growing in 7th grade. I was 6 foot. That was it. First high school year I played in high school, I was 6'3" on the program. Matter of fact, our whole team, except for one guy, was like 6 foot, 6'1", the whole team. But there were so many 6'3", 6'3", 6'3". I was like, none of us are 6'3". This is insane.
With the not even with the shoes on? Were you 6'3"? I mean, it'd be easier to
No,
justify.
I
Like, with
guess,
the shoes.
but they never measured us with shoes on. It was always barefoot.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, maybe they're like,
Maybe they're
we're
just
giving
like,
you
we'll give you, yeah, you got 3-inch soles. There you go.
right, yeah. No, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they'll never like measure anyone with shoes on.
No, it's
More so
insane.
like we're giving you the bump with basketball shoes on,
That's right.
even though that's really only like an inch
It's
and a
like
half.
an inch. Yeah. So like when I do my measurements and I put them on my Excel sheet, most of the time I'll just round up an inch just like to add the with shoe height.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like it's not as bad if like Reed Shepard, for example, he was 6'1" in 7 quarters, right? Or 3 quarters. And with shoes on, that's like 6'3", 6'2" and a half. Like it's not that small.
Yeah.
It's like Steph Curry size. But you get into people like Dillingham, and Dillingham is like not Dillingham. We'll take Mark Sears, for example. Mark Sears is like 5'10".
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not 6'2", not 6'3", buddy. You're short. But that's it, man. You got anything else that you want to close the show out with?
Nah, man.
All right, I'll see you guys on Thursday where we talk NBA combine measurements. Take it easy. I can't find our out button, audience. Where is it? Oh, there it is.